Last night I received a question from a friend. The question was, what is good and who gets to decide what is good? Brought a smile to my face because obviously he's coming at the moral argument for the existence of God. Since there is a morality, there must be a moral giver. Even when I was a Christian, I thought this was a weak argument. For three reasons, two in particular, before I was a Christian, and a third one now that I'm not a Christian. First, it makes a huge assumption that the biblical text is correct when it says that the law of God is written on every man's heart. Observation of our world around us tells us that that's not true. We have sociopaths living in our midst. They have no moral compass at all and don't have any remorse for the actions that they perpetrate on others. They may intellectually know that their actions are wrong because people have told them that their actions are wrong, but they don't sense it in their being. So it appears that the law of God is not written on every man's heart or every person's heart. The second reason I find this to be an uncompelling argument is it does not take into account, dare I say, the evolution of our morality, the development over human history of our morality. Now, I'm not an anthropologist, I'm not a historian, I haven't studied those things. I took a couple psychology classes in college, but that's not my expertise. I've spent the last 22 years studying theology. But just by observation of our history, limited knowledge that I have, I see that there is a development in our morality. Take, for instance, the story of Cain and Abel. Cain kills Abel, and the punishment for that action was that he was sent away, he was exiled. And through the biblical text, we see that the punishment for the crime of murder gets more severe as time goes on. Take, for instance, the issue of slavery. The Old Testament advocates slavery. And then finally, in our country, 150 plus years ago, we decided that that was morally wrong. It was morally wrong to own another human being. So we developed, we evolved in our morality. So I can imagine that the early humans, that murder was just another action, and they realized that murder was not good for civilization. It wasn't good for society. And so they started banning murderers from their community, and they would send them off. And then as our species began to interact with other communities, we realized that, we exiled Joe from our community, and he went over to this other community and started killing people over there. Maybe we need to have more severe punishment for the crime of murder. So it evolved. They realized that this behavior was not good for society. We did the same thing in this country as far as slavery. At some point, we realized that this action was not good for society, that it was not morally right. We defined what was moral. We as a society get to choose what is right and wrong. Now, in the future, there will be people that look at our actions and find them repulsive. There will be things about the way we conduct ourselves as a civilization that people are going to say, I can't believe that they thought that, because it's not best for all. And what's not best for all is really not best for anyone. What we want to do is create a world where, using the biblical text, where mercy and justice and humility and love and patience and kindness reign. We're not a perfect society right now. Probably will never be, because we're humans. But our morality develops over time. And the third problem with the question of morality is the answer to the problem in Christianity is to provide us with a God who didn't give us clear, defined morality. So even if there was a moral giver, the moral giver in the Bible is flawed. Now, I know one of the things that I always got upset with atheists about is they would complain about the literal or they would ridicule Christians for taking a literal interpretation of Scripture and then turn around and use a literal interpretation of Scripture to ridicule the Bible. That was unfair, in my opinion, at that time, and I still find it not fair argument. So I hope I'm not doing that here. But take, for instance, the issue of slavery. If God was the moral giver, why didn't he just tell the Israelites, don't own anybody? If God is the moral giver, why didn't he tell them that, no, your daughter does not have to marry his rapist or her rapist? If God is the lawgiver, why did he advocate for genocide? So the solution to the morality problem that the Christian has, that morality comes from God, if that's true, which I don't think it is, he's not a very moral God. So my takeaway from this is that me as an individual has to decide what is best for me, and what's best for me is to make sure that my son lives in a world and my daughters live in a world that is peaceful. And so, in doing so, I'll take the biblical message that says, do unto others as you would have them do unto me, to you. I'll take the message to love mercy, do justice, and walk humbly. I'll live that message and know that we as a society will become more moral. See you next time.